XRP community, Jimmy Valley chiming in here. This is shared by James Rule XRP. I want to listen to this. This is why Jimmy Valley from Val Hill Capital seeks permission to file an amicus brief in the Ripple vs. SEC lawsuit. We're going to check this one out, folks. Here we go.
Okay. Why did Val Hill Capital seek permission to file an amicus brief?
So there were two really important issues we wanted to make sure were before Judge Torres and Judge Netburn in the case. The first was that there are use cases that we are undertaking, and we're just beginning. I mean, there's going to be almost as many use cases for this asset as you can imagine up new things, right? But that we are taking the asset and using it in a manner that is completely independent of Ripple. They have no idea what we're even doing. We're just out there making other businesses and using it as the plumbing for our businesses, right? So that was number one. Number two is that we had done a lot of homework on the asset, a lot of due diligence, as we would call it in our business. And all of the federal regulators, they had come out and said pre-SEC lawsuit that XRP was a virtual currency. So they actually had a settlement with FinCEN, which is part of the Treasury, the Financial Crimes Enforcement Network. They'd had a settlement with FinCEN back in 2015 where the statement of facts, I think it's the third fact, clearly states XRP is a virtual currency. You had numerous other regulators like the CFTC call it a virtual currency. You'd had the SEC itself publish a framework and speak publicly about if the asset is such that it could be used in lieu of fiat, so that you basically can take the value and convert it into something else very, very quickly, just like money. That is not a security. They had published a framework back in 2019 that basically said that. But the framework was on digital assets and how we test analysis of digital assets.
Now, it's important to note here that Jimmy Valley here, he is a securities lawyer. He understands what he's doing here. He's an entrepreneur, builds businesses, and is really in the game here. He totally understands what's going on here, and they're actually building their own utility on the XRP ledger as well that Ripple doesn't even know about. And so that is why Jimmy Valley and why others have been used as examples, like Jay from Spend the Bits as well, as additional utility, additional users of the XRP ledger that are not Ripple, that are not relying solely on Ripple. We have a community, a decentralized community of developers that are still adding to a ledger that's already been completed, been running flawlessly for 10 years, and already been deemed a virtual currency by other members within our own federal government. So this is why Jimmy Valley stepped into the case. This is why I'm looking forward. I was just sent an invitation to be a part of his committee on writing the updated version of the Fed buyback. And I'm really looking forward to the opportunity as an American to talk about the value of this asset, what's happened and what's gone wrong here, and how we can make this right. How can we move this country forward using the digital asset XRP and others? It's not just about XRP, it's much further than that. But XRP community specifically being attacked. And I think it's because the value of this ledger is so great. It threatened the powers that be so much so that they had to stall it up with an SEC lawsuit. Right. So huge shout out to Jimmy Valley. I am your host, Zach Rector. I really appreciate all of the love and support. If you want to support the channel, just remember that you can start by smashing that thumbs up for me, sharing this content far and wide, and everything else is at my website.